Hello, 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 and welcome everyone. Today's video features the brand new Tier VIII premium American battleship USS Tennessee. Now, the Tennessee class of battleships were a direct evolution of the New Mexico class, featuring a very unique silhouette, enhanced torpedo protection, and a revised secondary battery layout. Following and surviving Pearl Harbor, USS Tennessee underwent two modernizations that altered her appearance and significantly bolstered the ship's defenses against airstrikes and underwater attacks. USS Tennessee had an eventful combat career during the Pacific War, participating in key engagements such as the Battle of the Surigao Strait, the landings on Iwo Jima and Okinawa, and USS Tennessee would go on to earn 10 battle stars during her World War II service. Now, in terms of availability, Tennessee will be available for free during this upcoming Leyte Gulf Web Adventure event. Now, it will also be available as an Admiral bundle in the Premium Shop and Armory, but only for a very limited time of 1 week. But she can also be found dropping inside the Leyte Gulf containers. But just remember, it will be free in the Leyte Gulf web event. Now, I've been playing Tennessee quite a bit during testing, and I do like this ship. Normally, I tend to veer away from these slow-moving American ships, but the upside here is the guns perform very, very well indeed. And this has swayed me in favor of recommending this ship. So we'll start with the build I'm using in this game. I have unusually gone for steering gears mod in slot 4, and in the captain skills I am using the Halsey captain, though I am taking advantage of the bonus to grease the gears and not gone for brisk. So this is the build. And now I'll discuss further why I've chosen certain skills and upgrades as we talk about the ship's individual stats. So starting as usual with a full review, we will take a look at the Tennessee's armor layout. Just using a simple port screenshot here, we can see the fore end plating, all 32mm. The deck and upper casemate or auxiliary room armor is all 32mm. The superstructure is 19, and on the stern, 32mm plating and an aft end armor belt consisting of 203mm below the waterline. The belt armor is covered by 35mm of anti-torpedo protection, and belt armor itself is 343mm, running from behind the rear turret to well in front of the front turret. So quite decent. Now the gun turrets, they get a frontal plate of 457, which is quite solid. Side plating of 254 at the front, on the side 229. The top plating is 127mm, and the rear plating on these guns is 229mm. So here, most importantly, if we take a look at the actual citadel armor, you can see it is very, very well submerged under the waterline. The front artworship is 343 and the same on the stern. But very, very nice protected citadel deep under the waterline. So this ties in directly to the ship's survivability, 59,000 hit points with a torpedo protection damage reduction of 35%. This is quite solid. This is further augmented by having access to 5 repair parties with this build. With the India Delta signal flag mounted, you can repair up to 354 hit points per second for just over 30 seconds. Now, what stands out about this repair party is its excellent cooldown time of only 38 seconds. So if you have to tank a barrage of damage, you have a very long-lasting and short cooldown repair party to help back you up. And it will happen due to the slow speed of the ship. You will be caught and focus fired quite a lot, but these will really help you survive those very dodgy moments. Now, moving to the main artillery. Now, these guns, I do like these guns. They may only be 356mm gun caliber, which might feel a little bit on the low side, but these guns do pack a reasonable punch. You get 12 of them mounted in 4 triple mounted gun turrets, 2 fore and 2 aft, They have a 28-second reload time. Now the turret traverse is tragically slow. With both the upgrade and the captain skill, with a bonus I might add, you can get the turret traverse to 41.7 seconds for 180 degrees. And this is also why I've leaned into using the steering gears mod in slot 4, just to help mitigate the slow turret traverse, just to aid in slightly using your ship to aid in the turret traverse, just by turning that little bit faster. Now the guns are pretty decent. You get a max dispersion of 172 meters. Now this is in between cruiser and battle cruiser dispersion. So very, very accurate guns. You get a max firing range of 20.2 kilometers and you have access to high explosive and armor piercing. Now I would recommend when you're fighting against tier 10s, the high explosive is very, very decent. You get a 30% fire chance. They can pen 59 millimeters of armor and a shell speed of 861 meters per second. And the max damage on these shells is 5,000. Now considering you have 12 shells, that's a pretty good return on investment in terms of damage and fire chance and penetration. When same tiered or fighting ships closer to your tier, this armor piercing is very, very good indeed. The max damage is 10,500 on entering the enemy citadel, and the shell speed is a little bit slower than the high explosive at 823 meters per second. Now I found these guns to perform very, very well against angled targets. Of course, you want to be aiming that little bit higher for the upper belt armor and superstructures, and trying to disable enemy turrets, that sort of thing. And any broadside presented, make sure to be going for that citadel at all times. Tennessee also gets access to secondary battery, although I would advise to use this only in a defensive posture, as the range is 6.6 kilometers, and due to your slow speed you don't want to be rushing in and getting in secondary range. It's a one-way trip, I'm afraid. The max damage on these high explosive shells is 1800. They have a 5% fire chance and they can pen 21 millimeters of armor with a shell speed of 792 meters per second. So very, very nice main battery guns on the Tennessee. In terms of airstrike, it's quite functional. You get a max firing range of 10 kilometers with 2 available flights, each with 1 aircraft per attacking flight, dropping 2 bombs, and these depth charge bombs have a max damage of 4,200 to help keep away those pesky submarines. In terms of AA defense, this is quite solid. You get an rating of 77. This consists of 43 of these 20mm single mounted Oerlikons. This is augmented by having 10 quadruple mounted 40mm Bofors, and the secondary battery consisting of 8 twin mounted 127s. They all double up as dual purpose. Now they pump out a continuous average damage of 304. This is split primarily between short and medium range. Tennessee can fire 6 shell explosions per flak salvo with a max damage of 1540, and this is further boosted by having access to the defensive fire AA consumable. This boosts your continuous damage by 50% and the shell explosion damage by 300%. Any planes running into any flak bursts, they will explode quite rapidly. And the AA does feel quite decent when augmented by this defensive fire. As we'll see later in this game, there is a lot of incoming aircraft at multiple times in this game. In terms of maneuverability, this is one of Tennessee's greatest weaknesses, of course. She is painfully slow. She gets a base speed of 20.5 knots. With the speed flag, that is up to 21.5. But in terms of turning circle radius, it's pretty decent at 640 meters, and the rudder shift time with this build is 11.9 seconds. So I've leaned away from the propulsion mod in this case and gone for steering gears just to help the turning performance to aid the main battery guns. In terms of concealment, very, very decent indeed. Concealment rating of 58 with a full stealth build. This equates to a surface detection of 11.4 kilometers, which is very, very good indeed. Your ability to catch enemy ships out at reasonably close range with 12 of these main battery guns, it will lead to some very, very nice surprise salvos on enemy players. You will be detected by enemy submarines and enemy aircraft at 8.4 kilometers. Now this is the USS Tennessee. Again, I will repeat, this will be available for free in the Late Day Gulf web event, starting soon on the World of Warships website. Normally I tend to veer away from these slow-moving American battleships, but in this case I really found the performance of the guns to really make up for the experience. So I'd like to thank you for taking your time to watch this review guide. I hope this was able to provide you some useful information to decide whether you're willing to grind for this event. If you'd like to see some live gameplay, feel free to come over and visit me on Twitch. Make sure to check out some of my short videos. I'm uploading them on famous historical naval events in the past and daily posts in my community section, so make sure to check them out. And until the next time, keep stealing it like you stole it.
Awaiting instructions. Airborne. Airborne.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert.
Awaiting instructions.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.
Airborne.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on normal alert.
Awaiting instructions.
Problem solved, sir. Torpedoes, direct front. Torpedoes, direct front.
Airborne.
Torpedoes, dead ahead. Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes, direct front.
Awaiting instructions.
We're holed below the waterline. We're flooding quickly. Critical engine damage.
Enemy submarine in sight. Bullseye. Airborne. Awaiting instructions.
Spotter airborne. The ship is on fire. Torpedoes, direct front.
Enemy cruiser foundered.